God bless the United States.
Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real?
The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's an incredible thing. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
What's up, guys? Let's go. Filter on in. I'm right with you. Hit that like button. Don't mind. Please and thank you. All right, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? I appreciate you once again for joining me. Let me know if the mic volume is okay. I had to slightly adjust the microphone, so I just want to make sure that the sound is okay. Let me know in the chat, but I do appreciate your time and energy once again joining me here to dive into the political news. Let's bring in the chat. Let's say hi to the fabulous chat. What's up, guys? As everybody filters in here, what's going on? Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, December 11th, in case anybody is wondering. In case you woke up in a fog and a haze and just weren't really sure. What's up, WW? What's going on, guys? What's up, Carol? What's up, Willie? What's up, Susie? How are you? What's going on, Steve? What's going on, Gamer? Silly Willie, what's up, brother? What's going on, Orville? How are you? Forever Young, Steph, Karen, how are you? What's up, Devin? Everybody on Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you guys have been fantastic and continue to be. So lots to talk about, lots to discuss as usual. No shortage of just ridiculousness to cover, to dive into. No shortage of corruption, chaos, and obviously cringeworthy moments, and we'll be diving into all of those today. Obviously, more info coming out about the oil tanker seizure, the Venezuela oil tanker. So we'll be diving into a short clip giving us a little bit more information. The video that came out, from that seizure. So we'll be looking at that. There is some more Republican versus Republican violence. Unfortunately, this MAGA, the girls are now fighting, and I don't mean the men as in girls. I mean the actual girls as in the girls are fighting. Erica Kirk versus Candace Owens. Erica Kirk's been all over the place on Fox, ABC. She's making the rounds, and she looks demonic to me. I'm not going to lie. Looks very possessed and demonic at this point. But I'll let you guys make your own decisions about that one. We also talking about Europe's ongoing reaction to the national security strategy of the United States, as well as some updates, of course, coming from Ukraine as we're hearing more about this peace deal. Ukraine supposedly now handing over to Donald Trump their version of a peace deal, at least depicting what they're willing to do as far as ceding territory or not ceding territory. So we'll be diving into all of that. Lots to come, lots to discuss. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. I really do appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. A multitude of different ways. Let's get the self-promotional bullshit out of the way. I know you guys hate it as much as I do, but it's a necessary dirty part of the job, and that's just what it is. So there's a multitude of different ways you can help this channel. Independent creator, independent media, nothing hidden behind a paywall, nothing that you have to pay for to see. So if there's any content that's out there that I've ever done, it is free to watch. You can find it out there. Nothing will cost you a dime as far as seeing my content. I find it ridiculous when people do kind of members only type of thing, or they end up putting stuff behind a paywall. That's very unfair to the people that have been here since day one that may not have the financial capabilities to watch that. Why would they, or should they, miss out on information? I've always had an issue with that, so I don't plan on doing that to you guys. We have no sponsors. I'm not selling you any products here, so all I ask is if you have a buck or two to send to the Venmo up here in the corner. There's also a PayPal that I put up periodically. You can sign up for a channel membership here on YouTube. Goes a long way in helping. That's just underneath me here, or you can sign up at patreon.com/BostonBrian. You can also check me out now on Substack. I have no idea what I'm doing, no idea how to use it, but you can check me out now on Substack. I think it's realbostonbrian.substack.com. Hopefully I'm getting that one right, but make sure you check me out over there. Give me a follow, and I promise at some point I will learn how to use it. But let's get into it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you, chat. Let's hop into it. What do you say? All right, let's dive into it. I know. I have no problem. I have no problem admitting. Let's start off on this one. I wanted to kind of show you guys this as well, because I have no problem admitting I have no idea how to use a lot of these platforms. All right, I'm putting this on the screen now. We're gonna start things off on a high note, right? We're going to start things off on what we hope to see one day, what should be seen one day. You know, if the world was a just place, you know, if we could actually count on accountability, people paying for the crimes that they committed in broad daylight, then this would be something that we would see, or hopefully do see. But this was put out by Gavin Newsom in response to a White House ridiculous little video that they put up talking about it's cuffing season and criminal illegals, yada yada yada, more along the lines of their, you know, racist. I don't know if this was the same one in which they had the white nationalist tattoo that Pete Hegseth has on his chest on the side of the helmet, or if that was a different one, but it kind of gives you an idea which way they're going on these. But yeah, this was kind of Gavin Newsom's hilarious response, or in my opinion, hilarious response on this. But let me know what you guys think. Clearly, Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, and Donald Trump on the curb. It's cuffing season. So again, this is the cuffing season that all of us are looking forward to, that, you know, the law requires, the law calls for, not just because we hate or disdain or, you know, can't stand our political opponents. No, because this is what the law requires. This is what justice looks like, you know, when again, all of these people have committed crimes in broad daylight in front of our faces, unconstitutional, whatever you want to, which way you want to lock them up. It should happen. And it has nothing to do with whether or not the left hates them or whatnot. So that's what you're going to hear from the right. But let's dive in. It's only 18 seconds long. So again, just starting it off on a high note here at Blunt Politics. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys. Again, from Gavin Newsom here. I don't know if I have no idea if that song has any copyright issues whatsoever. I don't know. I can't see anybody making a song called "It's Cuffing Season," but again, nowadays you just never know. But again, we get the sentiment. Just another way in which Gavin Newsom is fighting back in the online space, using the online space, using social media to hit back at the Trump administration, to frustrate them, to kind of throw them off their game too. Because remember, he was doing this. I forget what the specific thing he was doing and calling out Donald Trump. There's been so many of them, but there was one of them where it really got Trump supporters riled up. It really got Donald Trump riled up, you know, and it has a way in making them to cause missteps, so to speak. You know what I mean? So I like this. If this is paired up with, you know, good policy, if this is paired up with action going against Donald Trump and, you know, good policies for the American people and helping the younger people and making it so you can afford a home and making it so you can afford healthcare, then, you know, I'm all for it. But if it's just on the social media side, then, you know, we got issues because there's more work to be done. But again, funny to see them combating the White House press bullshit with you know, with some of their own, just to show the ridiculousness. You know what I mean? I don't think he's obviously not putting this out to be serious. He's just he's mocking them. What was it that he was mocking Donald Trump doing? I keep forgetting. Was it just, I think he was just putting out different tweets in all caps that kind of mimicked Donald Trump's True Social post. I think that's what it was, if I remember correctly now. But you know, he's been pretty good at least this side of the stuff. But like I said, just wanted to start it off on the right note. All right, let's dive into again, more updates from this, what everybody's calling a major escalation between the United States and Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro has now responded. A few of Maduro's, fucking inner circle members have responded as well. There's video that has come out that they've released from this oil tanker seizure. It's been reported and it's come out that this was a sanctioned oil tanker. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the sanctions were actually put on by the Biden administration. So, it kind of gets deep into this. But again, the big question is, what is the main goal? What is Donald Trump's main goal in all this, right? Because I almost wouldn't have a problem if they had announced at the beginning of all this that the intent was to go in and stop the illegal trade of oil, stop the the black market, these fucking ghost ships that were going around avoiding sanctions, right, making money for Russia, China, Venezuela. I almost wouldn't have any fucking problem with that whatsoever. But that's not what we're being told. That's not the end goal, right? That is just looks like a means to an end. That looks like they're using this to get to something else, but nobody else knows what that something else is. Everybody's just speculating. Experts are speculating. Journalists are speculating. Political commentators like myself are only left to speculate. But, all right, let's dive into this one, though. You guys let me know what you think in the chat.
We begin with a major escalation between the U.S. and Venezuela. The U.S. seized a large oil tanker off the coast of the South American country. Attorney General Pam Bondi shared this
just
video.
Before we dive in, Vinny, I was thinking about that too, right? So Vinny says here, and I appreciate you, Vinny. Thank you so much for your comment here. He says, main goal, total global domination. Like, I don't even see that. I don't even see that being his main goal. Like, you could, it was almost clear cut, right? Like, again, just using my World War II knowledge as a reference, like, it was clear cut that Hitler was genocidal in his intent on global domination, right? It was may not have been in the very beginning and with the appeasal of Chamberlain and stuff, but at a certain point, it became very apparent that not only was he, hell bent on global domination, but he was genocidal in his attempts. He wasn't going to let anything stand in his way, anybody or any government stand in his way of getting that. Like, Donald Trump has all of the maniacal visions without any of the end goals. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't have any of this authoritarian end goals. Like, he's using the authoritarian playbook. He's doing the same exact things, but he just doesn't have this ideological vision that he's trying to obtain, right? You could look at the writings of Mein Kampf. You could look at, talk about Lebensraum, the hatred of the Jews when we talk about Hitler and the Nazis and stuff. But you just don't have that really to point to Donald Trump. Is it financial gain? Is it just to make him seem like a big, bad, powerful person on the world stage? Which is, strange coming from the president of the United States, who, as soon as you obtain that office, as soon as you take the oath of that office, you are automatically the most powerful person on the face of the planet, right? You know what I mean? In charge of the most powerful military on the face of the planet. So he just doesn't have, he's using all of the same tactics, and we face all the same problems and shit. He just doesn't have the ideological end goals. He doesn't have those a genocidal. It's almost like a side note. The people that are dying, the people that are getting hurt, right? You know what I mean? It's almost like that's just like a side effect of what else he's trying to do. Enrich himself, enrich his family. That's not his we intent. It's still as dangerous as ever. Doesn't make it any less dangerous. But I was thinking about that earlier today, and we know everybody is still speculating. What the fuck is his goal? Why is he coddling up to Putin, right? Like, why, since he got into office, why is he so much more likely to side with a dictator or an authoritarian as opposed to our allies or somebody that supports democracy? Like, none of it really makes sense. And the flip-flop and back and forth, it was almost a lot easier to be like, okay, to just have a person say, okay, we know how to take this person. This is his intent. This is his goals. This is what he's willing to do to get those goals accomplished. And we have to treat it a certain way. You know what I mean? It's just strange. And I appreciate your comment, Vinny. I really do. Oh, Machine Tool. What's happening, man? Slava Ukraina. Heroyam Slava, my friend. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted memberships. That's 20 amazing people in the chat now getting a free membership thanks to Machine Tool. So please make sure we're reaching out to Machine Tool to give a nice big thank you. We very much appreciate it, brother. From the heart. Thank you so much. But again, that was just my thoughts on it. You may have different opinions and thoughts on it, which is why we have these discussions and why the chat is available and open for those discussions. So let me know what you think. We'll dive back into it.
On social media, you'll see U.S. forces propelling down from helicopters, then searching the vessel. Bondi wrote the U.S. had sanctioned the tanker due to its, quote, involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations, end quote. President Trump first announced the seizure yesterday.
We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large. It was seized for a very good reason. Well, I assume we're going to keep the oil.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand kicks us off from the White House this hour. Natalie, good morning. What do we know about this operation and how is Venezuela responding?
Good morning, Errol. Officials say the operation included U.S.
I'm sorry. Is she reporting from inside a fucking fan? What is that? Is she inside the jet engine? I'm sorry. Can you tell the helicopter to fucking shut it down before you start giving your on-air report? Because, no, I can't hear a word you're saying, lady.
Guard members and also military.
What was that, a fucking Zamboni? Did a Zamboni just ruin this lady's fucking her live broadcast? What was that?
Officials say the operation included U.S. Coast Guard members and also military special forces.
What the fuck? Oh, you can't time it any better. All right, here we go.
Teams, as you saw in that dramatic footage released by the DOD.
And of course, in case you weren't aware, the footage on the right side of the screen is the footage of the seizure that they're playing as B-roll. Just in case you weren't up to speed.
They are seen fast rope boarding from a helicopter onto this vessel. Sources tell CBS that the vessel seized is called the Skipper, sanctioned by the U.S. government in 2022. And Attorney General Pam Bondi, in a statement on social media, alleged that it was used to transport oil from Venezuela and Iran, saying for multiple years, the oil tanker has been sanctioned by the U.S. due to involvement in illicit oil shipping networks supporting foreign terrorist organizations.
And again, I've even heard that there was a possible Russian link to if not this specific ship, to some of these other ships in the area. And again, which is why I have no problem. If this was the main intent, the main goal, and this is what we could point to say, hey, this is why 25% of the United States Navy was in and around this area, so that we could put a stop to, again, the terrorist funding using the sales of oil to get around sanctions, these, ghost ships and stuff. I would have absolutely no problem with that. That is not the end goal. That's not the intent. This is just a ploy that they're using to, again, get some of their wishes done. But, I mean, it's funny. In another regard, it is funny that we have the capabilities, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll go back and you can see here. Watch this.
Now, source
I'll put this on the screen.
that too is called.
Ready? So let me get out of the way again, and just as it plays, I'll turn the volume down. And as it plays, you can see here. It's funny, ladies and gentlemen. Seems like we have the capabilities to take over the largest fucking oil tanker that has ever been seized, right? We could fast rope guys from a helicopter down into the world's largest oil tanker that's ever been seized, according to reporting and what Donald Trump said. But we can't stop and intercept 20-foot fishing boats with 3 or 4 60 to 75 horsepower outboard engines. You see how that works? When there's oil involved, when there's a shitload of money to be made, right? Then we have the capabilities to not go in and just blow the ship out of the water, right? Now we have the capabilities, but we don't have that when it's a 25-foot fucking, wooden vessel. See how that works? It's funny. It's not funny, but I mean, it's hypocritical. Why won't this play? Oh, it is playing. I just have the volume down because I'm an idiot.
The oil tanker has been sanctioned by the U.S.
Did somebody say, oh yeah, Mark says, oil ship could be a distraction for the Epstein files. Absolutely. I mean, that absolutely could be what they're using it as, but it still goes along with their goals, right? They have 25% of the Navy down there. They've sanctioned CIA action in Venezuela. They've come out openly to talk about how they want Maduro out. You know what I mean? So it still goes along the lines of they could be using the headlines and stuff to get away from the fact that, some more information was released from the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which we covered yesterday with Greg Kelly's response and how upset he was there. Could very well be true, but it's still, I mean, is incredibly, dangerous and obviously an escalation in the overall area of Venezuela and the Caribbean and what's been going on as far as this story is concerned. You know what I mean?
To involvement in illicit oil shipping networks supporting foreign terrorist organizations. Now, sources tell CBS News that the administration is potentially considering more similar missions, additional seizures.
So more to come, basically. And I just want to go ahead here to see if they play the response from Maduro. Yeah, here's a response from, I think, a different member in the Venezuelan government.
Venezuela's government in a new statement said, quote, it strongly denounces and repudiates what it says constitutes shameless robbery and an act of international piracy, Errol.
All right.
And then I think they also go on to play Maduro's response, if I'm not mistaken, or they at least talk about it here, and then we'll jump on to our next clip.
Office a couple of ways, he better take off now, etc. So I do think that that's the goal. I think that's the goal Secretary of State Marco Rubio is very intensely pursuing here.
Basically, what the clip that everybody's playing now from the Maduro speech basically just says no more Vietnam, not another Vietnam, not another Iraq, not another Afghanistan. No blood for oil, basically, sounding in resilient, sounding defiant still, again, just goes to show that this could kick off, and it may not be to the fucking to the benefit of Maduro, but that doesn't mean that United States servicemen, men and women, won't be put in harm's way because of the maniacal fucking goals, whatever they may be, the end goals, of the Trump administration. Because it still remains to be seen whether it's, precious natural resources, whether it's just the oil, you know what I mean? I don't know whether it's just him, whether he's going to be satisfied if Maduro's out and they can install somebody a lot more pro-United States. I mean, again, listen to what we're talking about here. That's happening in broad daylight out in the open. Like, this is the shit that used to happen behind closed doors in CIA fucking black sites. You know what I mean? That you would never fucking hear about unless it went tits up. Right? The Bay of Pigs or something like that, for example. Like, this is shit. Like, people always talk about, why is the United States trying to fucking, interfere enact regime change in Southern and Central, in Latin America. You know what I mean? It's like, well, now they're doing it in broad daylight. It's wild, the shit that we're talking about. Not only are we siding with Vladimir Putin and pushing our European allies away and putting more pressure on Ukraine than we are the aggressor and our enemy in Russia, but this is also happening in broad daylight too. So again, it's just almost like it's definitely a kind of a pinch yourself moment in history right now. And I was going to say U.S. history, but it's not even U.S. history. It's world history at this point, which we'll go on and we'll talk about, because I want to look at the other half of this James O'Brien clip. We'll check this out in just a minute, but just the shock on their faces and the way they're talking about this. Again, if you didn't catch it yesterday, this is just a couple minute clip. We won't dive into as much as we did yesterday, but it gives you good insight. If this is the one clip you see of people outside the United States kind of reacting to what's going on, then again, this will give you a good insights into what people are feeling. But let's dive into the ongoing MAGA feud, the ongoing MAGA civil war, the Republican on Republican violence that has exploded inside of the right-wing MAGA commentators, hemisphere, whatever you want to call it, society type of shitstorm, right? So now it has spread to the girls. The girls are now fighting, and no, I don't mean Lindsey Graham. No, I don't mean Ted Cruz. I mean the girls. I mean Erica Kirk and Candace Owens. Erica Kirk has now finally been questioned, basically directly about Candace Owens's conspiracy theories, let's say, about what happened in the murder of Charlie Kirk. And again, some wild shit in the response to this. But what are we seeing? We're seeing Fox News cover Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, heavily popular, heavily funded Republican commentator, now going against Candace Owens, who was once a supporter of Turning Point, and also heavily popular right-wing commentator. All of these people are in the same boat. They're all on the same fucking team. And again, it's just continuing to spread. We're no longer just talking about Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, Tucker Carlson, Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, the entirety of the Daily Wire. You know what I mean? It is now going mainstream because Fox is now doing their best to perpetrate and kind of blow up this battle. And it's only to their detriment, in my opinion. But I'm going to put this on the screen now because this is a Keith Edwards video. And shout out to Keith. Everybody go over there and subscribe to Keith Edwards if you haven't subscribed already. He's just over 1 million subscribers. This is entitled, Erica Kirk's Mental Breakdown on Fox is So Insane. Right? And I think he does a good job of procuring these clips and breaking it down. so that we didn't have to suffer through the whole interview. So shout out again to Keith for saving us and sparing us from that debacle. But yeah, we're going to go on from here. And then I do believe she also went on to CBS to speak to Barry Weiss. And it's the look in her eyes in this clip that really almost made me fucking jump away from the computer. You know what I mean? What do they call it? A jump scare? I almost had to take a few minutes because I was fucking shook. All right, let's dive into this one, though. Again, Keith Edwards talking about her appearance on Fox. I believe she's on with, I forget her name. Doesn't matter. It's a Fox News journalist, so fuck him.
Kirk is on her very strange grieving press tour where she's now on Fox News, and she attacked Candace Owens. Candace Owens has responded to these attacks. You also have Melania Trump being humiliated by Barack Obama in truly the best way ever. And I've got some good news for you at the very end of this. Got some good news. Can you believe it? Good news.
I'm just going to skip forward to where he starts the story. My apologies.
Now, I don't think she meant to do this, but bars? Could this be rap?
He would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
To the editor.
What? She's so fucking weird. She's fucking wicked weird, man. She's fucking wicked weird. Everything about her is just strange as can be. What was that? He would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom, throw it in the drawer. I mean, I don't mean to. She's weird. I'm sorry. Fuck it. She's weird.
Bars? Could this be rap?
He would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
To the editor, maybe if we put like a sick beat behind this, it would make even more sense.
He would walk through the door, drop his bags, daddy's home, take his phone, Friday night, Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, when's the album coming out? Now,
all right, credit to that one. That was a good one.
Erica Kirk, as I said, is doing her weird press tour where she's grieving for the world to see, and she has now attacked Candace Owens. A little bit of background on this. Candace Owens has been alleging a lot of conspiracy theories.
I don't actually think they specifically name Candace Owens, because I do recall seeing a Candace Owens response of her saying, I believe they're talking about me. So I don't think they actually specifically name drop Candace Owens. They more just reference the conspiracy theories that are out there. But of course, we all know who the main perpetrator, the main conveyor of those conspiracy theories are, or is.
Her show around Charlie Kirk. She's made millions and millions of dollars off of this. And Erica Kirk is finally responding to it. And then I have Candace Owens responding to this.
Somebody said, Carol says, did you hear her saying Shabbat Shalom? What the fuck? I think it has to do with her book. I think she, if I'm not mistaken, published posthumously a book that Charlie Kirk had written, and I think it's something Shabbat. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be part of the title or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, because I know they met in Israel, Kirk and Charlie Kirk and Erica, right? I think they met on some trip. I forget what the specific trip was, but I do believe the first time they met was in Israel. So I think that might be. I think it might say it in here. We'll find it in here, but I think that's the relationship there with that saying.
First, let's just hear a bit of Erica Kirk.
We're all grieving in our own way, and they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard, and I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making...
I mean, is it weird that she names the Turning Point people before her, like, immediate family, her kids, mother, father, parents, the parents of Charlie's, you know what I mean? Am I crazy? Am I, like, she seems to name Turning Point her Turning Point USA family, and then she names her Kirk, like the fucking podcast show family.
Call me names. I don't care. Call me what you want. Go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk show family, when you go after the people that I love.
I mean, I guess I could give her the benefit of the doubt because she said family first. I don't know. It seemed like she was kind of clarifying there that she was talking about the Turning Point family to me. But, benefit of the doubt on that one. She said family first. So, again.
And you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode.
And this is where, again, people are pretty sure, almost 100% sure that she's specifically referencing Candace Owens because of the exponential fucking growth in numbers she's seen, again, since Charlie's murder.
Going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this. No.
I have to say it. I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this. Excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been.
There's more. I actually think we should watch more. I think we should watch more of it. I am a little like, it just feels like acting. It all feels like acting. All of it just feels like
it seems like one big Turning Points infomercial to me. You know what I mean? Like none of it seems sincere. It all seems to be in trying to help gain favor for either the podcast or, the events that they have. Like it doesn't, you know what I mean? I know everybody grieves differently, yada, yada, yada. But I mean, I think at this point, it's pretty clear to a lot of people, even inside of her own camp, right? That the way she acts, the way that this whole thing has been treated and, is strange. It's weird. You know what I mean? To say the least, it's not normal. Not that there is a normal way to do things, but, if there was a normal, this wouldn't be it, right? And it's clearly been picked up on by not just, like I keep saying, lefties, progressives, people on the liberal side of things. It's picked up by a lot of people.
Big show. It just feels like a show. I don't understand why she feels the need to put herself on camera every single day. I don't understand it. And the anger to me does not seem authentic. It doesn't. None of it feels authentic.
Everything from.
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful and we are human. My team are not machines and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats.
I beg to differ. I don't know if the way your actions, especially with the next clip we're going to play, proves that you're not robots. I can tell you that much.
On our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up,
team, again, the team. Like, wouldn't you just be solely focused on your children? And again, as somebody that's obviously never given birth, somebody that's never, had the honor and the privilege of raising a baby since birth, I'm obviously speaking from the outside here, but like, if I'm trying to put myself in her shoes, if, in that horrible position, like I would be solely focused on the mission of keeping my children safe and happy and healthy. And, the immediate family members, like this team aspect and Turning Points and the podcast and the show and it's just, I don't know. Like I get the same kind of feeling. I'm assuming Keith does, where it seems put on. It seems like there's an end goal, like you're trying to solely benefit financially, or again, the Turning Points and how they've spread to different colleges and campuses after this. Like, I don't know. It just seems it's strange. It's strange.
Supposed to do relive that trauma all over again.
I'll jump on just for the sake of time. I'll go on here because he plays a response from Candace, and then I'll go on to play that clip from CBS where she was on with CBS. But here's that clip from Candace.
Stop going on Fox News. Now, here is what Candace Owens had to say in response to Erica Kirk.
Okay, super fun show today. You're probably seeing the clips, but Erica has gone off on conspiracy theorists. Obviously, every journalist out there is emailing me because it's about me. It's indirect, but it's also about me. And don't worry, in case you think it's not about me, she is going to name check me on stage with Barry Weiss on Saturday. How do we know? Because our mommy sleuths be everywhere. And they recorded the town hall today. And as soon as the town hall concluded, we got a flutter of emails. And what she says about the Egyptian planes, I'm sorry, not going to lie, it's a little suspicious.
Egyptian planes. Okay, I'm not in that world of her, whatever kind of reality she's creating. I'm so Egyptian planes.
Come on, Keith. You got to be up on this stuff. She's talking about the Egyptian planes that were parked at the airport doing suspicious maneuvers. You know, come on. You're not hip on the old Candace conspiracy theories here? Jeez, I thought you were diving deep into this shit. I'm only kidding. Nobody should be forced to know any of that shit. All right, so again, this is her on, and I don't know if this was the same town hall that Candace was just referencing. I'm assuming it is, but yeah, you can see him here. You can see here. So Charlie's book is called Just Days After the Posthumous Release of Her Husband's Book, Stop in the Name of God, Why Honoring the Sabbath Will Transform Your Life. So I already forget, but for whoever was talking about that in the chat earlier and kind of curious as to why she was talking about the Sabbath and said Shabbat Shalom, I should say, I think this is kind of what she was referencing, trying to get this book out there. Again, using this whole thing to gain financially from it, from Charlie's book. When is enough? I don't know. But let's play this. This is a quick clip, 34 seconds. Just look at her eyes in this clip, and I'll take myself off the screen just so you can get a better view. Just look at her fucking eyes. Look at how quickly her facial features and her expression shifts the moment Candace Owens' name is brought up. I mean, check out how fucking rapid this is. It's like, what was that thing? Like kids use, like you do this in school and it's like, you got to do the face change. Like that's what that reminds me of. Like, check this out. This is just like rapid, immediate shift in anger. I mean, in attitude. Like, watch this.
The podcaster Candace Owens, okay? At one time, a friend of Charlie's, at one time, an employee of Turning Point. She has been one of the main peddlers of these conspiracies. And she is making a huge amount of money on it. She is building her business.
Look at those fucking eyes, dude. Look at you. Do not look directly at him. Don't do it. Avert your eyes. You will turn into stone. Holy shit.
Off of these lies. What do you want to say to her and the other people that are putting these lies out into the world right now?
Stop. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I'm done. I stopped. But sorry, my apologies. Hallelujah, amen. Something, glory of God. I'm good. Sorry, bye. Oh, Jesus, imagine that showing up on your fucking doorstep. Can I sell you into the Church of Jesus? Huh? Have you heard of the teachings of Jesus? I'd be like, wow. Talk about a fucking jump scare. I'd be begging for the fucking, what are the other people that come to you do? The Jehovah Witness. I'd be like, where'd that Jehovah Witness just go? Get him back here. Fucking holy shit. I'll sign up with him. Anything to get away from you. Look at that. Ah! Fuck. Jesus Christ. I mean, maybe you're not having the same reaction. Maybe it's just, but I look into that and I see fucking a demon, bro. I see a fucking demon. Jesus. All right. So not to have, I don't even know what will happen if I keep that on the screen too long. I'm going to start having fucking electronical failures here or something. Something's going to happen. I'm struck with lightning. All right. Let's jump into the next, subject. And this is another quick one. This is something else that I missed the other day in this interview here that a lot of people were talking about that we discussed as well in this interview with Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes. And check out the check out these chapter names. I love this. This one is called, where is it? Asked him if he's ever had sex and then asked him if he's gay, right? So this is, I'm going to go to where Piers Morgan asked Nick Fuentes if he's ever had sex. This is just a quick little part of this, but I found it very humorous that Piers called him out on this. and I wanted to make sure to embarrass Nick Fuentes as much as possible. So let's see if we can dive into this quick clip, and then we'll go into what's the next thing we'll be covering. Oh yeah, the European response to our new security plan. But all right, let's dive into this. Right here. There we go.
Oh, you should see my DMs. It is quite the opposite. They're called the Groy bets, and I'm actually batting them away. Granted, not all of them are attractive.
Hold on. I missed the beginning. Ready?
We can get them to lose.
Come on. There you go.
Hey, women are annoying, so therefore, what's the incentive? We have to do it in spite of the fact that they are annoying. We have to do it in spite of the fact that they talk too much. We can get them to lose weight. We can put them on peptides.
And again, he's speaking about women in general, a general statement about women. He's not speaking about specific women. He's not speaking about ethnicity. Okay, he's not speaking about races or ethnicity. Jesus fucking Christ. Did I just have a stroke on live fucking air? I don't know, but I'm not going to try to say that word again because that's embarrassing. But anyways, what he's trying to do here. Oh, good Lord. I can speak English. I promise. I really can. If you stay around long enough, sooner or later, a sentence, a complete sentence of English words will come out of my mouth, properly pronounced.
We can get them to the promised land, but it's going to be.
Do you think this view of women may be why none of them want to go near you?
Pierre says, do you think your view of women is probably the reason why they don't want to go near you? Like he's hammering them on this one.
Oh, you should see my DMs. It is quite the opposite. They're called the Groy bets, and I'm actually batting them away. Granted.
Sure, governor. Sure, which is probably why you go on in another couple seconds to say that you're a virgin. Just putting that out there.
And not all of them are attractive. Some of them are attractive.
Are you actually? Look, just to clear up one of the many theories about you, I've no idea what the answer is, and you haven't got to answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
Okay.
So there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
I do not. No, absolutely not.
They should stay at home?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm the boomer. I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women.
I am.
All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy. Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I thought you just said your DMs were full of groy bets. What a demeaning term that is, by the way. Groy bets. Jesus Christ. Just the thought of me saying that is just fucking disgusting. But I'm sorry. You were just go on about telling us how your DMs were full of women that want to sleep with you, and what? You just can't find the right one because of why? Like he's okay. So he's a racist. He hates women. I forget. He's never slept with a woman. You know what I mean? He's a virgin. He's a all of this on Piers Morgan's show. I love it.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid. Wow.
That's the thing, though. You boomers, it's always
think you're an expert in women,
free love.
Given you've never got laid.
Yeah, we are going back to the Stone Age. You're absolutely right. This. You're talking about empathy and your kids are empathetic.
Wow. I mean, I don't know if it gets worse than that. I don't know if it gets much worse than that, especially with the type of people, again, well, not the Groyper group because they're known for being the incel type of fucking, don't like women because they don't like them type of crew. But again, the people that are now slowly filtering away from MAGA at least, and, kind of dipping their toe in the water of different fucking factions that have now popped up, whether it be the America First faction here with Nick Fuentes and the rest of these assholes, right? Or if it's another part of the MAGA wing that is kind of splintered off to create their own little subset, right? But I don't think they're gonna really think I don't think it's the flex you think it is to some of these guys, these the rednecks with the Trump supporters that we normally think of, that you have never gotten laid, that you've never slept or been touched by a woman. You know what I mean? Again, no passing judgment over here, but I just don't think it's the flex that you think it is to the people that you want to attract to your show or that you're trying to attract to your show. But yeah, like I said, we don't have to dive into too much of that one. But I forgot to either forgot or I missed that the other day while we were playing that. I think I ran out of time, so I didn't have enough. But there's actually a few more points in there where he goes on to talk about his Hitler comments.
Oh,
right.
He was also.
Let me see. I'll just play this just to kind of give everybody the highlights here, just to remind everybody who Nick Fuentes is. Now that we're seeing his face more, he's being more mainstreamed. I want to remind everybody that regardless of him calling himself a racist, how much he hates women, and the rest of the degrading shit he said there, that is still much more tamed and toned down than his actual views are and what he actually espouses on his podcast. So as terrible as that is actually the toned down mainstream version of Nick Fuentes, which is why you're seeing kind of the pushback that we reported on here from his own America First movement. All right, so here's him talking about, let me see, is this where he starts? Let me see. Yeah, here you go.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So
again, talking about Adolf Hitler.
Time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool.
Do you regret saying that?
Saying a fact? No, that's absolutely true.
Again, so we don't have to go on to play his reasoning, his ridiculous reasoning behind the statement, but just to show you that, everybody think, oh, he's changed, he's made, like when I say that he's trying to mainstream himself, like there's only so far that Nick Fuentes can mainstream himself. Like he's done it to a point where it at least allowed him to get onto Piers Morgan and a lot of these other kind of more mainstream type of podcasts that he wasn't allowed onto for a lot of years, right? But this is again why his group again, this is how bad the America First people are, is they think this is the toned down, like pussified version of Nick Fuentes. Again, just to show you, we're going from fucking bad to worse here. It's not like we should be happy that the MAGA is splintering to turn into America First. Like that's just going to be another fucking faction to contend with. And they're going to be even more, bigoted, homophobic, racist, openly. And again, more openly than we've seen allowed by Donald Trump since he got into politics. Much more. So we got to be on top of that shit too. All right, let's dive into, again, more of the European reaction to the United States new national security strategy. Basically it should be called the United States, China, Russia, like joint national security strategy, if we're really getting down to it. But again, here's James O'Brien, and then we got one more after this. This one is titled, Why is Trump Demonizing Europe? And then the one we're going to watch here is Why is Trump Attacking Europe and Siding with Putin? This is basically where we left off yesterday. So, just to pick it up there, I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. It really goes a long way to help this channel. I know you may not think it does. It's a simple act. It only takes 2 seconds. It's free to do. And then if you find yourself liking the channel, then you can subscribe. But, I really do appreciate you guys. But at least a like would be very appreciative. All right, let's go. Let's dive into this one again. James O'Brien from LBC, across the pond, giving us the insights, at least a little small snippet of what some of the Europeans are feeling and viewing in this new strategy that were just released.
Why is Donald Trump attacking Europe in such extraordinary ways? I don't understand why. It doesn't strengthen his position at home, does it? Does it? I mean, it doesn't improve the economy. It doesn't bring down prices. It doesn't do any of the things that foreign policy. It doesn't enhance peace. It doesn't increase the likelihood of peace in Europe, giving Putin what he wants after he's invaded a sovereign country. Says next time you invade a sovereign country, fill your boots, mate. It does the polar opposite of promoting peace. I know what you're thinking. How on earth could the winner of the FIFA...
And he's 100% right. He's 100% right, and he goes on to make a good joke there. And sorry, I stopped it there, but
what you invade a sovereign country, fill your boots, mate. It does the
fill your boots, mate. Of course, the British expression for pillage and plunder, do whatever you want, take whatever you want, whatever you deem necessary is okay, is basically now the new policy of the United States when we're treating, people not willing to follow the rules of the democratic society on the world stage, right? Us being the arsenal of democracy, the I don't know, people always like to say the policeman of the world, whatever it means, the position that we were thrust into after World War II, right? So again, this is them realizing here and asking what the hell is going on what is the end goal, what is the reason for what is obviously and clearly a departure from a long-standing alliedship, either between Britain and or the Europeans. You know what I mean?
Polar opposite of promoting peace. I know what you're thinking. How on earth could the winner of the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize, not be in the business of promoting peace? But well,
I mean, can you see how they're mocking it? Right, Donald Trump left. Oh, they respect us on the world stage. Oh, fucking, we've never been more respected. And everybody says we're the hottest country around. They're clearly openly mocking the fact that FIFA invented a fucking prize, a peace prize, a fucking a football soccer organization, wherever you call it, wherever you come from, invented a peace prize because Donald Trump was so upset that he didn't get the actual Nobel Peace Prize that they had to appease his ass with a fake fucking prize, thinking that he was going to look cool and look good. And he had no problem wearing it or touting it, right? And this is the evidence here, or at least, an anecdotal piece of evidence to suggest that they're being laughed at. And this is just one. We played a few shorts from people in Wales, from people in Glasgow, from Scotland, from people in Ireland, from people in England that were there just to watch the draw, just to cheer on their own fucking, their own squad. And they're like, what the fuck is going on here? A peace prize? Like, what is it? Next thing you know, they're at a Trump rally, and you can see how fucking like, they were shocked. Like, what is going on, mate? This is nuts. Or they said nuts, but.
That's for the judging panel. Why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? Why is he targeting Europe? I mean, the language is a curious combination of dangerous and ridiculous. He doesn't even mention the word democracy until page 16, a 29-page document described by Vladimir Putin's press secretary as largely consistent with our vision, doesn't mention democracy until page 16 and then only 3 times across the entire document, because it is a statement of intent. It is a statement of rejection of democracy. He favors countries. I mean, he's done it with China already this morning. He favors leaders that are repelled by democracy. He favors leaders that rubbish democracy. He looks at Putin and he looks at Xi and he thinks, I'd like a bit of that. I mean, you see what I mean about those mornings where we just have to pause and take stock. What's the alternative? What is the alternative? It doesn't matter. So that the United States national security strategy denigrates democracy and attacks allies, among whom we are arguably the oldest and the staunchest.
I mean, again, you can see how serious, right, that he's taking this, how big a moment this is in history, right, how big a departure, like I said, this is from, societal norms and what was, basically, just what has happened, what has taken place, what has just been the norm for so long. But again, it goes on too, because it's not just, it's not just the one time where they're kind of talking about this. He goes on in this clip. Let me put this on the stage for you guys. And this is again titled, Why is Trump Demonizing Europe? And we'll only do a little bit of this. But again, just more sentiment from not only him, but I think he has that other gentleman on that was reporting on it to begin with. So let's dive into this one.
He's given an interview, I think, this morning to Bild, the German newspaper, in which he essentially calls upon Volodymyr Zelensky, and I quote, to get his act together, suggests that Russia has the upper hand in peace negotiations and that Zelensky needs to start accepting things.
And of course, talking about Donald Trump.
Not exactly the language you'd expect, Phillips, from a FIFA Peace Prize winner.
Well, actually, I think it's quite refreshing that he's just actually speaking his own truth. This is his view. We've been dealing for months with so much BS, James, about people thinking, oh, Trump might help Ukraine. Trump will be tough on Putin. And Trump actually feeding this nonsense by saying, oh, maybe I'll send tomahawks. All of that was a lie. But people bought the lie. I actually like the fact that they have the national security strategy out there. And we have Trump saying, Zelensky, you're in trouble, get out. We want to settle the war in Putin's favor, which is what he's saying, because that's what he believes.
Yeah.
And it means that Europeans can't pretend that somehow the U.S. is on their side and that the U.S. will get a good deal for Ukraine. The European.
I mean, again, it's fucking mind-blowing. Just think of what they're saying. Like, thank God it's finally out in the open. It's finally in writing, what everybody has seen, you know, for so long, that the United States has absolutely no intentions on partnering and allying with the Europeans to, again, defeat the Russians, to help Ukraine, to support Ukraine. I mean, again, at least now what he's saying here is at least now there's no guesswork involved. We're not, we're not questioning ourselves as to whether or not he is or will or won't. It's pretty clear now what the intent is. But again, now signaling what that intent is, we have to sit back, take a step back, and take stock again in what the historical ramifications are of this document, of this change in our national security policy and posture. And I don't think at this moment right now we could fully grasp the monumental nature of this blatant, just, I don't know what you would call it, just capitulation to our allies, capitulation to our agreements, to our trade partners, to democracy. So it's pretty crazy to hear. I mean, I know I'm kind of sound like a broken record, but it is crazy to hear, again, people speaking about this, people that have, are serious in this business and probably have never in their lives had to report on anything like this, especially coming from the United States, pertaining to its allies, and, the shock and, disbelief they have when they have to report on it.
Now have to accept the U.S. is actually an impediment to Europe.
We have to accept that the United States is now an impediment to Europe. I mean, just think of what a monumental statement that is after, again, World War I, World War II, global partnerships in a sense. Now we have done a 180, a complete reversal, and now we are a hindering. We are now a roadblock. We are now an impediment to the Europeans in their freedom, in their sovereignty, in their security. Just wild shit.
To European democracy, and they have to act to look after their own interests. So I actually like these comments. I'm glad they're being said, and I want them to be amplified as much as possible.
Well, that's why you're here. Are they born of frustration? I mean, is the petulance now coming to the surface because Zelensky hasn't been bullied into accepting the terms laid down effectively by, let's not beat about the bush, the terms laid down by Vladimir Putin via Donald Trump's White House?
Absolutely. I mean, Trump had a deal with Putin. They worked it out. 28-point plan. Trump's view was that they could bully Ukraine into taking it. So far, the Ukrainians have not taken it. So now, of course, he makes the threats not to Putin, but to the Ukrainians, and specifically to Zelensky. We have to understand, Trump hates Zelensky.
Yeah.
Hates him personally.
Why?
Wants
Why?
Zelensky.
Why?
The Hunter Biden laptop. Remember, everything with Trump is personal.
Yeah.
So he views Zelensky as an enemy, that Zelensky didn't help him when he thought Zelensky should help him. So
this is when he tried to withhold federal aid from Ukraine because he wanted Zelensky to help him dig up dirt on Hunter Biden. I mean, those were the days, weren't they, when we were shocked.
I mean, again, it's just I play this just to show you, because I know a lot of people probably don't watch British media, probably don't watch media outside of the United States, and if you do, probably not all that often. But again, we're going to have to now start spreading this coverage around, because this has now gone from, crazy inside the United States and something that we're dealing with to now something that, the entire fucking world is now talking about and dealing with and recognizing in real time, which, again, like the frog in the boiling water type of moment. And it's going to be a while before we actually kind of, feel that heat. But going into the peace plan that he was just talking about, this just came out in the BBC, where it says Ukraine hands United States revised peace plan proposal, Germany says. So I just wanted to see if I could dive into just a little bit of this real quick, where the German chancellor said that the latest peace plan draft for Ukraine has been presented to Donald Trump, including a proposal on territorial concessions Kyiv may be prepared to make. Again, what was the starting point? Is this a completely different document than the 28-point peace plan? Remains to be seen. We have a little insight from a video coming up after this that may be able to tell us. It says Merz highlighted the territorial issue was a, quote, question that must be answered primarily by the Ukrainian president and the Ukrainian people. Obviously, just Good to point out, though, as well. We also made this clear to President Trump. In recent weeks, European leaders have worked closely with Ukraine to come up with a new iteration of a peace plan that addresses Kyiv's interests and concerns. So hopefully a brand new iteration. Trump appears to have grown frustrated with the intricacies of the question of sovereignty over Russian-occupied Ukrainian territories because his negotiating team has previously worked closely with Moscow. Kyiv's European allies fear the U.S. president might be eventually seeking to impose a Russian-led solution on Ukraine. I think that's pretty friggin' obvious and just understated. It would be a mistake to force the Ukrainian president into a peace that his people will not accept after 4 years of suffering and death, Merz said in a joint news conference with NATO chief Mark Rutte. He added that in Wednesday's constructive phone call with Trump, France's Emmanuel Macron and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer had made it clear that Europeans needed to have their interests heard too. For his part, Trump said that the participants had, quote, discussed Ukraine in pretty strong words and added that he has yet to decide whether to attend a meeting in Europe. We don't want to be wasting time, Trump said. Ukraine's, let's see here. What is this one? This says territory. Putin insists Russia must control the entire eastern Donbass region as part of any peace deal, which would mean Kyiv giving up territory it controls. Ukraine said this is unacceptable reward for Russia's aggression. Zelensky also fears Moscow would use the territory as a launchpad for future attacks. The level of recognition given to areas controlled by Russia is also a sticking point. Security guarantees. See what it says here. Zelensky said they had long signaled he would be prepared to talk to Trump directly to discuss the sticking points of the deal, but the U.S. president has suggested all issues to be ironed out before such a meeting could take place. The territorial question is one of the thorniest. Russia demands that Ukraine withdraws entirely from parts of the eastern Luhansk and Donetsk regions, which it still holds, something Kyiv refuses to do, both on principle and because it fears it would allow Moscow a foothold for future invasions. Absolutely 1,000% justified fear. Not only that, but as you see here, Zelensky goes on to say, quote, we have no legal right to cede territory under Ukrainian law, our constitution, and international law. And we don't have any moral right either. Zelensky is set to hold more talks with his allies today as he co-chairs a coalition of the willing call alongside Merz, Macron, and Starmer. A high-level frantic diplomatic activity of the last few weeks has taken place among U.S., European, and Ukrainian officials with frequent statements from all sides. Moscow has remained remarkably tight-lipped. Any comments from Russia have sought to cement the impression that Moscow and Washington are aligned, yada, yada, yada. On Thursday, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov praised Trump for trying to broker a deal and said that the recent meeting between him and Putin and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff at the Kremlin had eliminated the misunderstandings which had arisen since last summer's Trump-Putin summit in Alaska. It goes on to talk about, again, see this area on the screen that you're talking about? So that's still the area of that of the Donbass that Russia does not control. Again, most experts, most people that have speculated how long it would take just for Russia to take control of that bluish purple area you're now seeing on your screen would be something around 4 or 5 years. It's been said, I've seen 3 to 5 years and even maybe longer, depending on how it goes. But why the fuck would they give up this territory that, again, it would take them longer that the war has been going on to actually take that territory? Just, again, one of the issues that makes absolutely no sense. The foreign minister also battled off questions that Kyiv could be given security guarantees in the form of foreign troops stationed in Ukraine. Again, this doesn't give anything specific, which I hate. And, this gets really confusing here because of the amount of plans that have been talked about, 28 point, 19 point, 22 point, to 20 point. Nope, it's not that plan, it's this plan. So, just to kind of see if we can hash out what is going on. The professor here has a good video, or at least the title is good. I'm hoping it's good in explaining this, but it's at least titled, What's in the Peace Plan? Ukraine's latest peace deal, Why Russia Wins Big. Obviously not what we want to hear, but let's see what is at least entailed. And I'm not even sure or certain that this is the specific plan that this BBC article references that Zelensky brought to the White House, or Zelensky handed or sent over to U.S. diplomats to be handed over to Trump. I'm not even because of the conflicting reporting and the back and forth that's been going on. I cannot say because this was put out an hour ago. When I pulled this up, so probably about 2 hours ago, maybe at this point. But this video from the professor was from an hour ago as well. But that would lead me to believe that he had to record it earlier, so maybe he wasn't. I don't know. We'll watch it together and we'll see what comes out. But again, just the conflicting reporting and the back and forth on this has made it very confusing to what the actual final points are, what the Ukrainian sides, what their points are, what the Europeans' points are, and what the fucking what are everybody's points here.
And we're talking about the peace plan and Witkoff and Kushner going back and forth and Trump putting pressure on Zelensky and what's actually in this peace plan. Well, there are a number of articles that have come out recently talking about this. I'll show you one that's general. I'll show you one that's specific from the Wall Street Journal. And
See
then
how
I'll
this says Trump's revamped peace plan? So is this referencing again the plan that Ukraine handed the U.S., or are we talking about a totally different document that's different from the European document, the European revised peace plan? Yeah, you know what I mean? You see how it kind of gets kind of confusing here? So, all right, just to kind of,
I'll show you a few other things before we're done. Okay, so Trump's revamped peace plan is essentially, again, this is Noel Reports, is essentially a recycled version of the controversial 28-point proposal, a package of 4 informal documents.
So then that would lead me to believe that it's absolutely not anything even remotely close to what Ukraine would have sent the United States. Because there's no way they would have adopted that 28-point peace plan unless they, again, fucking just hit Alt-Control-Delete or deleted the whole thing and started from scratch. It says it suggests recognizing Russian control over Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk, freezing the front line in Zaporizhia, Kherson, and locking Ukraine into a demilitarized buffer zone. NATO membership blocked indefinitely by a U.S. veto. Security assurances replaced binding guarantees, echoing failed Budapest memorandum. The plan proposed U.S.-led control over Ukraine's recovery and natural resources, with Washington taking half of the profits from Russian assets. Even the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant would be handed to a new U.S. operator. So this is obviously leading me to believe that this is not what was being reported in the BBC article. Again, nothing was actually depicted. Let's see if this shows me anything. What is this kind of telling me here? What's this telling me? So this says Ukraine negotiations, key sticking points. These are the main stumbling blocks in the way of reaching a deal. But what peace plan do these come from? Are these just generalized talking points? Size of Ukraine's army. U.S. draft peace plan envisaged limiting the size of Ukraine's army to 600,000, which Kyiv proposed revising up to 800,000, roughly its size now. But the European counterproposal that we read on this show had no limits on the size of Ukraine's military. So what happened to that proposal? And then why the fuck are we limiting the victims' military in this case? Shouldn't we be limiting the aggressors? The fucking maniacal and genocidal dictators military? Why the fuck are we're downsizing the military of the people that have been brutally attacked? What the fuck is going on? But a survey conducted in November suggested 78% of Ukrainians deem reducing the size of the army as absolutely unacceptable. Again, a sticking point that not only the Ukrainians won't go for, the Ukrainian parliament certainly won't fucking go for. Russia stands, which is obviously why they're calling these sticking points. Russia's army stands at 1.5 million. Doesn't really. Oh, that's maybe part of their argument as to why they shouldn't be. This also says elections in Ukraine. Putin has long demanded the removal of Zelensky's government, claiming it is illegitimate because elections in Ukraine are more than a year overdue. Trump has also called for the elections to be held. I mean, again, to this sticking point, we all know that it's literally enshrined in the Ukrainian constitution that during a time of war that the elections are suspended, because again, how can everybody in Ukraine vote in these elections, take part in the elections, if they're being fucking occupied by Russia? If when they walk out of the house, there's a Russian with an AK-74, or, probably not even, probably with an AK-47 still at this point, right? It's pointed in your face saying, hey, don't go vote, or you can't vote, or whatever the fuck happens. You know what I mean? Having their own stupid and fake elections to say, again, showing up with a gun to say, hey, there's only one name on that ballot. I know it's Vladimir Putin, but you got to check it off or else. So again, that's a stupid sticking point in there. But we talked about, again, in the show, how Vladimir Putin cannot allow, when this ends, the Russian people to see, a thriving democratic society in Ukraine, when, again, they've been talked about how closely allied and related they are talking about, oh, it's our, the brothers and sisters and people of Ukraine, yada bullshit that they, they spew at the same time as they're trying to allegedly denazify the fucking country again. Makes no sense, but he cannot have his autocratic society of people that have absolutely no rights or minimal rights at that, looking at a society that has free and fair elections, fucking access to Western media, access to Western goods. That type of shit is not a good look, especially if this ends and Vladimir Putin sees about 700,000 to 800,000 pissed off Russian soldiers finding their way home, fully fucking armed from this conflict, right? Russia's frozen assets, another sticking point. So nothing really specific as to what is in this revised peace plan Ukraine supposedly, allegedly handed to the United States. But again, let's dive into this one.
Documents heavily so and locking Ukraine into a demilitarized buffer zone. NATO membership blocked indefinitely by U.S. veto. Security assurances replace binding guarantees, echoing the failed Budapest memorandum. Ukrainians have seen this before. This is the sequel. The plan proposes U.S.-led control over.
I know I read this, so I'll skip on to where he's done with this one.
Get rewarded and the rules-based world order collapses. Okay, now that's commentary here, but there's a lot to, especially at the end. Like, what about the rules-based world order? What about you can't go and just seize territory from another nation like the Russians have done? Now, I'm going to show you this. This document here is the Wall Street Journal, and we're going to move this. Give me a second. Over here. This is the Wall Street Journal.
So this says the outlines of a sustainable Ukraine peace deal inch into view. And again, he says this is from the Wall Street Journal. Full text. Here's a simple description of what peace should look like in Ukraine, a sovereign nation, its borders protected by international security guarantees. This a part of the European Union in rebuilding its economy with big investments from the United States and Europe. For all President Donald Trump's hardball negotiating tactics and his inexplicable sympathy for the Russian aggressor, such a deal seems to be getting closer, according to what I'm hearing from American, Ukrainian, and European officials. Trump could still blow it by squeezing President Volodymyr Zelensky and his European supporters so hard that they choose to fight on despite the awful cost. That would be bad for everyone. This is a moment for Trump to reassure Ukraine and Europe not to try to bludgeon them into a settlement. Trump's tilt toward the Kremlin in national security strategy released by the White House this week has complicated negotiation. He seems to want to stand equidistant between a democratic Europe and an autocratic Russia. To mitigate the risk of conflict between Russia and European states, the document says that the even-handedness between friend and foe makes no sense strategically or morally, and it genuinely worries Europe. Despite this shaky foundation, the Trump peace effort has some promise. U.S. negotiators Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are business tycoons, not diplomats, but they seem to recognize that the best protection for Ukraine is a combination of binding security guarantees and future economic prosperity. I think that's fucking asinine. U.S. negotiators Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are business tycoons. I don't even see that as fucking being true. Maybe Steve Witkoff, but fucking Jared Kushner. Why? Because he was handed $2 billion by the fucking Saudi crown prince there. But I don't see that as being a fucking tycoon. But they seem to recognize this is probably the dumbest statement. They seem to recognize the best protection for Ukraine is a combination of binding security guarantees and future economic prosperity. And they know that the package will fail unless Zelensky can sell it to a brave but exhausted. Bullshit. At what point in time has either fucking one of those people or anybody in this administration come out and said, hey, the best protection for Ukraine is a combination of binding security guarantees and future economic prosperity? Again, the economic prosperity that they're trying to accomplish is going to come from their partnership with Russia and Vladimir Putin, right? That's what they've been talking about. That's what they've been discussing. That's what seems to be the most likely in this, which is why they're continuing to put pressure on Zelensky in Ukraine, as opposed to, again, the aggressor, the illegal fucking aggressor in this whole conflict. So I don't know who the fuck's writing this. I think it says, well, who wrote this? I think it says up here, Ignatius David. What? Ignatius David. Did he write it twice, or is there two of them? Are they twins? I don't know. Fuck is that all about? But all right, we'll go on to where I stopped, and I'll let him kind of take over here.
like what we're seeing here is actually going to move forward in a meaningful way without
That's another thing, though, that because he says this, right? He goes through this video, and even after this, he's got another 15 or so minutes that he's talking about. But listen to this statement.
brave but exhausted country. So I don't think that's a plan like what we're seeing here is actually going to move forward in a meaningful way.
So a plan like what he's reading here, he doesn't believe it's going to move forward in a meaningful way. So basically saying it's not going to happen, which I don't disagree with, but no, I don't know. It seems strange to me to cover that in depthly. I guess it's nice to know what was being talked about and discussed, but I don't know. It just seems strange if there's pretty much no chance in that happening. But let's move on from one professor video to the next, because I think this is something that we need to highlight as well. We talk about the good, bad, and the ugly here at Blunt Politics, whether that's for the United States or for our allies, right? We try to give you it real. That's why we call it Blunt Politics. We try not to hide or sugarcoat or, twist any facts around to fit an agenda or anything like that. So, when good things happen, we tell you good things are happening. When bad things happen, we tell you bad things are happening. But on the good note, on a positive side, seems like Ukraine had a good night. This says huge night for Ukraine, a great night for Ukraine. Drones hammer Russia overnight, which is always a good sight to see, always good to hear. So I just wanted to dive into just a little bit of this to highlight again the successes of the Ukrainian military as we talk about the ongoing struggles in and around Pokrovsk that we've been continuously highlighting here. So again, the good, the bad, the ugly, we talk about it all here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, please, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for getting me over 15,000. We're on our way to 20,000. Unfortunately, we got to get to like 16, 17, 18, and 19 first, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have faith in you guys. I have faith in your ability to share this to other people. I have faith in your ability to show your friends and family this type of content, to maybe see if they'll enjoy it as well. So thank you for everything you do. Mods, chat, you guys are fucking fantastic. No matter what anybody says, you guys are the #1 chat in all of fucking social media. So thank you guys.
It's Thursday, December 11th, 2025, and it was a big night for Ukraine, a huge night for Ukraine. Let's talk about what happened last night. So last night before I went to sleep, I saw this. These are Ukrainian drones leaving Ukraine on its way to impact in Russia. Ukrainian drones hit the Akron chemical plant in Russia's Veliki Novgorod, a major industrial facility about 200 kilometers from Estonia, 700 kilometers from Ukraine. And you could see that there were good hits there. There was clearly things were on fire.
Fucking Artur Rehi's going to have a field day reporting on this. Only 200 kilometers from Estonia. If he hasn't already put out a video, I'll be looking for that one, because he loves when things go kaboom. Things go kaboom. I think at the beginning of the war, he was covering this, and people were kind of trying to figure out a way of how to try to cover this. We were still trying to figure out what you can show, what you couldn't show, what YouTube would kind of let you get away with, what you could say, what you couldn't say. So he kind of had the running joke of Russians smoking carelessly, right? So anytime you saw an explosion, perpetrated by the Ukrainians on a Russian target or anything like that, it would, he'd kind of just report it as Russians smoking carelessly, basically, to try to get around the old the old censors.
And, again, the type of factory it was related to war-related production. Ukraine's attack drones screaming along the rooftop level over Russians in Veliki Novgorod. Let's listen to this. Hear that? Yep, that's what.
That is just a scary, scary sound, ladies and gentlemen. Scary, scary sound. It's like I don't even know what. It's like it's like having a snowmobile or multiple snowmobiles come flying past you at, a couple 100 feet or 50 feet with just packed with high explosives. That is a crazy sound. It really is. Never get used to that one.
It sounds like leaked footage.
Even when we were in Ukraine and they were doing drone demonstrations, and we knew it was controlled and it was all set up for us, and it was the good guys and there was the people that we were with. It was still, when they would come fucking buzzing by with that drone that had, active fucking and live fire ammunition on it with a gun attached to it, it has an effect, man. And it's, you could sense that even without being in actual physical combat, without being in any danger whatsoever. You could just tell how that noise would get to you with the Stuka siren, right? I mean, that's it without the purpose of that. It wasn't put into play for that purpose. But the sound that the rotors make and the blades make and the drones make, it has that same effect that the Germans found out that siren they put on the Stuka dive bombers would have on the morale and the psyche of the people on the ground, right?
Inside a control room at one of Russia's largest nitrate plants, that's the place we're talking about, shows a major fire engulfing the center of the facility.
It's amazing. We continue to talk about justifiable military targets. When Ukraine strikes targets, they are justifiable military targets used to enhance or prolong or to keep the war going in some way, shape, or form. Not apartment blocks, not fucking schools, not hospitals, not railway stations packed to the gills with civilians at a popular time. Nope, just continuing on at their oil refineries, anything to do with power plants, anything to do with chemicals, anything to do with fuel, anything like that. Just justifiable military targets that are known by the people working there that they are justifiable targets. No, nobody's in there fucking thinking that they're safe from bombings, right? These are places that obviously have defenses, obviously not good enough defenses, but they know that they're under threat. Oops, sorry.
Following a Ukrainian drone attack at night. Okay, so and where is it? By the way, this is also formerly known as the Azot plant. It's located north of Novgorod. Ukrainian Telegram channel.
So I wonder what the total number of strikes was. I wonder if he can. I'm just going to skip ahead just a second here. I'm curious what a mass drone barrage shot down Moscow airport for 7 hours, and nearly 300 UAVs were shot down across Russia. So just to kind of give you an idea, that's reported on by the Kyiv Post. Just to kind of give you an idea of the size of the drone attacks. I mean, and again, we're taking Moscow's kind of word for it as to how many they shot down. But again, just to kind of give you an idea as to how many went up.
Then there was a massive drone barrage in Moscow. 300. This Kyiv Post saying 300 UAVs were shot down across Russia. That's the scale of what was going on last night. Russian Telegram channels reported massive drone attack on Russia last night. Russian Defense Ministry claims that it shot down 287 drones. 40 of them were shot down over Moscow. Now, there wasn't a lot hitting Moscow. It just created a real headache. Airports were closed in the area. Travelers are inconvenienced. 170 flights in Moscow canceled due to Ukrainian drone swarms, with Russians sleeping in airports all over the country, as well as Egypt and other Russian-friendly countries. So,
well, again, good to see. Good to see. Still on the offense here.
Dashan with several Sea Baby kamikaze drones while it was traveling at maximum speed with its transponder off. Okay, it's not supposed to be traveling with its transponder off. That's an image of what it looks like afterwards. Yeah. So the SBU's Sea Baby naval drone struck Russian Shadow Fleet tanker Dashan. The vessel
These are the ones that were reported on the other day. I think they were worth something around $60 to $70 million a piece or something like that, which is, again, a huge blow if you're taking out $140 million in one pop. I know, probably a drop in the bucket as it pertains to the entire war effort. But again, if you do that in one pop and you can do a lot of pops, then it adds up. It adds up quick. But I'm going to jump into how much time we got left. We got roughly a little bit more than a half hour. So what should I do? I always put up too much. We don't have time for. All right, let's dive into this one, because this is kind of giving us insight into what's going to happen next in Ukraine, or what we can at least expect to happen next in Ukraine, which is something that, I guess everybody wants to know. Everybody's trying to figure out, especially in and around Pokrovsk, what that entails, what that means, what's going to happen there, as we've been discussing on the show. So this is a pretty good segment entitled What Happened Next in Ukraine. So let's dive into this and see if we can get any insights, maybe some critiques on what we agree with, disagree with, what we can expect to happen or not expect to happen. So I really do appreciate you guys, joining me throughout this effort of, not only covering what happens inside domestic policy, but also foreign policy with our allies, what's going on between Israel and Gaza, which we typically always dive into as well. So I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me throughout this journey of talking about everything that's going on. I know there's a lot to focus on inside of this country as well, but again, we try to cover it all here on Blunt Politics, and I really do appreciate you for recognizing that.
So looking at what's going to happen next, let's look out to the wider picture. So next, it's difficult to assess. As I said, the Russians, the two combined arms armies that are fighting in and around Pokrovsk will have culminated. That means that they can't generate sufficient combat power to do anything else. Their troops are exhausted, their equipment's exhausted, their commanders are exhausted. So Russia could look at other areas. Novopavlivka, Stepnorysk in Zaporizhia. There's already indications to suggest buildup of troops in this area, and they might try and open another front into there. The Russians might decide to try and continue with other combined arms armies and other troops in the Donetsk
Again, just
region.
to kind of show you, we've seen really no substantial change in the mapping, at least on the deep state map here that we've been checking out and looking at regularly. So if we go to current day, which is right here, no substantial change over at least the last 24 hours. The day before, there was a little bit of territory gained here by the Russians. Other than that, and again, yesterday we were trying to figure out, and I was not able to pinpoint that. I think they said it was like somewhat of a 30-kilometer take back or a 19-kilometer out of 40-kilometer take back. I know we were looking in this area up here they were pointing to, but it was specifically reported as in Pokrovsk itself. So again, that was kind of a mixed bag of reporting on that one, but I still was not able to pinpoint the exact area of that. I'll see if I can do some more digging later on today. We also have, not to throw this in at a weird time, but we also have our Zoom meeting tonight, if I'm not mistaken, for our everybody signed up at patreon.com/Boston Brian. I'll be sending out a link after the show. That just gets you access to the Zoom chat tonight. Then we just meet face to face, shoot the shit for a little bit. You guys get to meet and engage with people that you see as a screen name in the chat, but this time you get to put a face to it. And again, nobody's required to sit on camera or to engage at all. You're more than welcome to just hang and listen and chill out. So, anybody that's signed up again at patreon.com/Boston Brian, that gets you access into that. So I do appreciate you guys. So, all right, just to kind of give you the update on the maps, just to get everybody up to speed.
But the area of Donetsk that they don't hold is huge.
Again, that's the same territory that we were discussing earlier that was kind of referenced in the blue or purple shading. Right. So that's a substantial portion. I mean, you can see here, judging by, just the size of the territory that Russia holds based on the territory that, the complete size of Ukraine to that fucking area right here. It's a pretty substantial area, which is why experts say at the pace that they're going, it would take Russia some, 3 to 5, probably maybe even more years to fully take over that territory that they want to just be handed over to them now, and that Trump is desperate to have handed over to them now.
British military intelligence, the defense intelligence, has assessed it will take the Russians at least another 4 years and at least another 2 million casualties to capture that.
2 million casualties. So time is one thing. Time is one thing, right? When you say, okay, it'll take you 4 years possibly to take this territory. But when you talk about it in terms of casualties, 2 million casualties. I mean, just think, we dropped nuclear weapons on Nagasaki and Hiroshima to avoid what experts were predicting could possibly result in some 1 million casualties if we were to had to invade the homeland of Japan, right? I think that was somewhere around the estimates of casualties that we could expect if we took on that endeavor. So that inevitably led the United States, obviously, in Truman, to the decision to drop the 2 nuclear weapons instead of taking on that, full frontal assault on the mainland of Japan because of the amount of casualties. So now we're talking about double that amount of casualties just to now take over the rest of that Donbass area. Just to put that in perspective, right? Just to kind of give you an idea of the numbers that we're talking about. It's pretty wild that now it's almost normalized when you hear, 2 million, because they've already lost over 1 million now. What's another 2 million, right?
That's why we're seeing the Russians trying to get that included as part of any peace agreement so they can get it for free. Ukraine has got a number of defensive lines through there where they can fix the Russians again for that at least 4 years and create at least 2 million more casualties. Can the Russians survive that? The other area that the Russians are looking at is up around Kupiansk. In this area, they might try and push a new front out towards Kharkiv, something that they have been wanting to take back again ever since the Ukrainians recaptured it. But then again, Vladimir Putin is throwing a spanner in the works. He's talked about another buffer zone.
Well, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. I was just kind of typing in behind the scenes something. Check this out. Check this out. What do you know? Let me put this on the screen for you guys. Let me throw this on here. What do you know? Vladimir Putin expresses solidarity with Venezuela's Maduro as lawmakers say Trump is sleepwalking into war. Russian President Vladimir Putin expressed support for Venezuela during a phone call with Nicolas Maduro. CBS News has learned this comes after the U.S. seized an oil tanker near the South American coast. Charlie Agata reports, and William James Inman has more from the White House. Let's see what this report is, because again, this will be a pretty big slap in the face to Donald Trump. Not that he'll care about it, but as he's actively supporting Vladimir Putin on the world stage, now Vladimir Putin's going to be actively supporting Maduro in his fight against Donald Trump. Again, showing the intent of Vladimir Putin, showing how he really fucking views Donald Trump, and how the lack of respect that he has for Donald Trump in this, and how he just knows he can manipulate the guy. And that's exactly what he's doing in this fucking entire process. But let's see if we can dive into this and get any new information. I think this just came out. I'm not, so 4 hours ago. So I'm not as on top of the breaking news as I'd like to be, but I tried my best. All right, let's get into it.
Probably know we've just seized
Yeah,
a tanker.
We know.
On the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large.
Yeah, we know.
Largest one ever seized, actually.
The United States is ramping up its military operations off the coast of Venezuela, and this time seizing an oil tanker. Take a look at this new video to our monitors here showing that operation.
Now, is this another one of those things where these fucking websites do, where they title it something, but the video attached to it has absolutely nothing to do with the headline? Does this give me anything talking about Vladimir Putin? Because that's what I'm looking for.
Correspondent Charlie Dagra has those details.
Venezuela has condemned the seizure of its oil tankers, international piracy, and brazen theft. We're learning that Russian President Vladimir Putin, in a phone call with Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, expressed solidarity with the Venezuelan people. Some Democratic lawmakers.
And again, I told you that I heard it. It was reported that there was allegedly or purportedly some sort of Russian connection with these tankers. The Shadow Fleet. We've all heard of the Russian Shadow Fleet used to get around and evade the sanctions put on by Europe and in the United States. Well, again, I've heard it reported. I didn't get too much time to dive too deep into it before I come onto the show with you guys. But, this now kind of lends a little credence to that, a little credibility to maybe that there is some Russian involvement here. And maybe you guys have seen it reported more than I have. And if you have, feel free to drop it in the chat, any information that you guys know. Again, I am not here to preach or to sit on my soapbox. I am one of you guys. We are learning this stuff together. We're digging through it together, deciphering what it means together. And, again, I'm one of you. I am one of you. So, again, if if you have any up-to-date or more up-to-date information that has come out since we've been on air, please share it with the chat. You guys are, again, are more than welcome to keep me as informed as I try to keep you. All right, let's see if I can just see what this says again. Sorry. Oh, my apologies. This one, not that one. This one.
Pressing concern. Senator Rand Paul saying it sounds a lot like the beginning of a war. Chris Coons says he is gravely concerned Trump is sleepwalking us into a war with Venezuela. And certainly seizing that oil tanker yesterday has taken tensions with Venezuela to a whole new level. We're learning more of what looks like a multi-agency operation with the backup of the U.S. military.
Yeah.
FBI,
Go back to
and
Putin.
Homeland
Go back to the
Security,
Putin.
Gerald R. Ford Air.
What I want to know is the ramifications that Putin is supporting this and what it means. And is this something that could push Donald Trump to maybe reverse course again and maybe go back to supporting a little bit more the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian military, right? You just never know. It's all fucking speculatory. It's all speculation at this point. You just don't know because, Donald Trump switches and moves and changes his fucking, the way he feels at a whim, depending on which way the wind's blowing, how much money's in his pocket that day. And I don't know, again, how much hair's on the top of his head, something like that. But I don't know. Who knows? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen if this is just another one of the ploys to make it seem like they're at odds while they're really fucking working together. Who knows?
Companies for years, but this specific tanker was seized because it was on the U.S. Treasury's Department's specially designated nationals list for carrying that sanctioned oil from places like Venezuela and Iran, though that was under a different name. And Attorney General Pam Bondi says that makes that ship a legitimate target. So this is all part of the pressure campaign against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. and his government, in addition to sanctions,
Oh,
dozens
shit.
of strikes on suspected
You guys
want
to see?
And that.
Do you guys want to see where apparently Caroline Leavitt was questioned about the bruising on Trump's hands or the bandages on Trump's hands? Curious to see what her response is to this. Apparently, this was roughly an hour ago, posted by Aaron Rupar here on Twitter. Let's see what the old bag of lies has to say about this. Apparently, the question is, can you explain what's going on with the bandages on Trump's hand? And then she says, we've given you an explanation. The president is literally constantly shaking. Oh, no way. No fucking way. They're trying to get you to believe that it's from his incessant handshaking. Holy shit. That's a new low. How dumb do they think their fucking followers are? Holy shit. All right, let's see. Let's hear this one. What?
Go ahead. Thank you. The president's been spotted out and about a number of times with bandages on his hands. Could you please explain what that is about? Secondly, he noted on Truth Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. Obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspect.
All right, he's dying. He's dying. He's dying. That you know that he's dying. That's what that's telling me. If you're gonna fucking get on fucking in front of a camera and try to get the American people to believe that his hand has been bruised up since I don't know how long now and covered in bandages and makeup because of the amount of fucking handshakes, then I'm sorry, he's dying. I wasn't on that bandwagon before, but Caroline Leavitt has now got me on the bandwagon to say that Donald Trump is officially fucking dying in front of our eyes. That's what else could you possibly want to stoop this low to try to cover up? What is it? What is it? What is it that you're fucking going to say? Well, who shakes the back of someone's hand? How big are the hands? How big are the fucking hands of the guys that he's shaking? I know his hands are tiny. Oh, no. Oh, no. It may be possible. Is it possible because his hands are so fucking tiny? It may just be a possibility that even a child shaking Donald Trump's hand could possibly wrap their entire hand around the hand and squeeze it hard enough to bruise the back of the hand. Because he does, as we know, have the tiniest hands. Hold on. I got something for that. Where is he? Hold on. I got some small hands. Where are the small hands clips? Give me a small hands clips. Where are they when you need them? Where are they when you need them? The rectum. Damn, you can never find them when you need them. They're just never right there when you want. Here you go.
Refer to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
But again, let's dive back into reality just for a couple fucking seconds here, right? And who's shaking hands? How are you going to get a bruise on the back? And what hand is it? What hand is it, chat? I'm blanking. Is it his right or his left hand, Trump, that he's got the bruising on? Is it his right hand? Hit me up, Chad. Let me know. I'm blanking on it right now. It's his right hand. Okay, so it at least would be the hand that he does shake hands with. At least they got that going for him. But fucking hell, a handshake. You're going with that. That's what you're going with. That's the fucking excuse that you guys pulled out of the fucking rabbit hat. You know what I mean? That's the fuck. Oh my good God. How dumb do they think you guys are? How dumb do they think we are? I mean, I know they think their base is dumb, but I mean, to give a response like that to what you have to assume would be somewhat intelligent fucking journalists. I know they've done a great job of kicking out the actual intelligent journalists that are ready to sit there and question them and to push back on shit like this. But still, I mean, how willing are you to allow these people to insult your intelligence, getting a response to one of your questions like that? It's the shaking of hands. I gotta hear that again. Can we get that one again? Hold on. The shaking of hands. Fucking hell.
Literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspirin regimen, which is something his physical examinations has
So
said.
what is he dropping the aspirin on the back of his hand? What the fuck does the aspirin have to do with it? Does aspirin give you bruising? Again, I'm no medical professional, but does aspirin just give you random bruising and shit on the back of your hands in the same position on the same place constantly? Is that a side effect of aspirin? I've had a bunch of headaches in my time. I don't take too much, Tylenol, aspirin, or anything like that. But, when I do, I don't just break out into random fucking bruises. Is that like a side effect for old people? I don't know. I know, like, when you get thin blood, your skin gets thin. My grandmother had this problem where she could just kind of, when she was getting old, she would bump into shit and it would look like she got mugged on the fucking, on the train station. I think she had one time she was shopping at Stop and Shop and one of those price signs fell and it literally fucking sliced her leg wide open. I mean, just because of how brittle and thin skin, that type of stuff. Like, I see that stuff happening. That type of stuff I know, but I don't know why it's like you name an aspirin here. Jesus Christ. Can you fucking imagine this? Like, one more time. I'm sorry. I know. Just, I got to hear it from the top, just so in case anybody's going to clip this, please clip this, because this is a prime example of how pathetically ignorant and stupid this administration thinks the American people are. This right here. If nothing else encompasses that, encapsulates that, this clip will. So clip it.
What that is about. Secondly, he noted on True Social the other day that he had aced 3 cognitive tests. Could you please clarify when those tests took place?
I can do that at a later date. I obviously don't have that in front of me. The president has spoken about that quite extensively throughout the years. As for the bandages on the hand, we've also given you an explanation for that in the past. The president is literally constantly shaking hands. The Oval Office is like Grand Central Terminal. He is meeting with more people than any of you even know about on a daily basis. He's also on a daily aspirin regimen, which is something.
I'm sorry. Is he meeting Lou Ferrigno 10 times a day for handshakes? Is the I don't know, is fucking, I don't, who else? Is Andre the Giant? Did he come back to life and start shaking Donald Trump's hand 35,000 times a day? What are we talking about? Handshakes. I feel like Allen Iverson. Practice? We're talking about practice? or Mora. Playoffs? What the fuck? I don't know. I'm like, I know we shouldn't be at this point in time, like, kind of shocked by the stupidity and like how, like, the depths in which they're willing to sink in order to protect this man. But wow. But fucking wow. And it goes on. What else does she got to say? I guess we should hear it.
His physical examinations has said in the past as well, which can contribute to that bruising that you see.
Wait, what? His physical examinations? What are they putting him under anesthesia and just smacking him on the back of the hand until it bruises? Yeah, put him out. Keep hitting him. He'll never know. Once you wake up, so you're going to have a giant bruise on. Fucking idiots. Unfucking believable. That's crazy. All right, let's see if there's any other wild clips from that. What do you say? That was just kind of the first one that I saw here. Let's see here. That's kind of similar question. That's the same question. This is being questioned about Abrego Garcia. Question: does the White House have a response to the judge ordering the immediate release of Kilma Abrego Garcia from ICE detention? Will you appeal? Absolutely. The White House opposes the activism from, I'm assuming, what is going to say an activist judge. So again, we don't have to dive into that one. Antifa is our primary concern right now. What a bunch of assholes. So it doesn't look like anything else. Prolong a war. What's that say? Levitt, prolong a war is definitely not something this president isn't interested in. What the fuck does that mean? Let's see what this is.
I think the president considers the seizure of the oil tanker as effectuating the administration's sanction policies, which I've already discussed previously.
Potential invasion or potential land strikes in Venezuela aligned with the president's supporters, the MAGA base, does it risk the potential for a prolonged war and U.S. troops involved in that?
Prolonged war is definitely not something this president is interested in. He's been very clear about that. He wants peace.
Just a really quick war. He wants one of those short, bloody, really quick wars. You know, the no new war president, the president of peace. Just interested in kind of those short wars, the quick wars. You know what I mean? And again, more action. We talked about this the other day, but you know, more. Let's see if I can put this on the screen. Just another one of those wars that Donald Trump said he entered has officially kicked off in a major way. Let me throw this on the screen for you guys. So the Thailand and Cambodia fight has intensified. So let me throw this. This is AP, just to kind of pick one of these stories to throw on the screen for you guys. But yeah, border clashes between Thailand and Cambodia intensify with airstrikes and artillery. So does that, again, congratulations to Donald Trump for apparently ending this war that is now, again, using artillery and airstrikes to attack each other. But again, another war that Donald Trump, just in one of his recent speeches, claimed as one of the wars he stopped, did acknowledge that it was maybe kicking back off again, but all it would take is one phone call. But apparently that hasn't taken place yet. But yeah, just to kind of, we've gone over these wars that he lies about ending, but just to show you the evidence that in real time, this is now, you know, not kicked back off right now, but it continues to intensify, right? So again, artillery strikes, airstrikes. Let's see here. Cambodia and Thailand launch more airstrikes Thursday as heavy fighting flared along the two countries' border, and both sides accuse the others of violating sovereignty along the contested border region. Sounds a lot like the situation going on between Israel and Gaza right now. You know, both sides accusing the others of violating the ceasefire that isn't a ceasefire. You know, a lot of these different wars that he says and conflicts that he says he ended are in this exact situation, where there are major points still to be hashed out, still fucking, fighting going on in isolated pockets, if not just outright, airstrikes and artillery being launched. So again, just to kind of quell the bullshit propaganda of Donald Trump, and, him talking about how many wars that he's ended. How much time we got left? We got about 10 minutes left before I got to start thanking people. So what do we still have left here? This is... Yeah, let's dive into this. Let's dive into a little bit of this, and then we'll end on this. I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me. I feel like we did a lot of show. Yesterday we did what? I think that was the longest that I've been on. No, probably not. I think I've done over 4 hours a few times before, but yesterday was 4 hours of content for you guys to enjoy. We also have tomorrow's show that we're at, a Friday show. So don't forget tomorrow, same time as today, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So the new Friday show going to start tomorrow. So we're trying to be here as much as possible, right? So basically Saturday and Monday are the only days that we don't have streams now. So any day that you're available, any day that you guys are ready and willing to, soak in the news, come here and chat with the chatters and just, kind of engage in conversation or politics in general, I'll be around for sure. All right, let's dive back into this one. Let me see what you guys are looking at. Yeah, it's this, because this is going to be Ukraine's defensive strategy explained. And again, just a couple minutes, and then we'll get into thanking some people. But just to kind of round this story out of not only what we can expect going on, but what the defensive strategy will look like going on here in the future for Ukraine. So thank you guys. Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava.
All along this front line. This front line is huge. Think of Aberdeen to London.
It's a good point, too. It's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, we're talking about a substantial front line here that is not only tough for the defenders, but it's also tough on the attackers, too. If you don't have the numbers, the numerical advantage that you need in order to not only take the territory, but hold the territory, then it becomes increasingly more difficult to advance, or if you do advance, hold the territory that you did capture just days or weeks before. You know what I mean? So that's what is going on here. So he's talking about, I think he says it's the equivalent of Aberdeen to, what's he say, London? I forget what he says here. My apologies.
Think of Aberdeen to London.
Right.
That is 1,000 kilometers, 700 odd miles. It depends on where you measure your wiggly line as you go through, but it's huge. Ukraine has changed its tactics, as we've explained in other episodes, and is moving away from a positional defense to having a more core structure, but it's not quite got that right yet. So we'll see Ukraine continuing its positional defenses, but again, focused on towns and cities. Russia has got this fixation with them, as we saw with Mariupol, as we saw with Bakhmut, as we saw with Pokrovsk. Russia likes to throw everything at getting a town or city. Ukraine will have noticed that and will have pre-prepared its defenses. It has pre-prepared its defenses at other towns and cities. And if it can fix Russia there, then that's what President Zelensky says is winning for them on the front line, because they're using that time then to carry out those attacks against the shadow fleet, as we've seen, attacks against oil and gas infrastructure across Russia, closing down Russian airspace, closing down and bringing the fight to the Russian people so it becomes more visible to them, with the aim of
all things that we've been talking about, right? I mean, we've also, without again going after or attacking the Russian civilian population, you know, to be able to have the Russians feel that they are actively engaged in a brutal war, the way that the Ukrainians have been feeling it since the invasion took place, then that, I think that would go a long way in, again, you know, creating unrest, creating instability inside of Russia, putting pressure on Vladimir Putin for possible, you know, pushback and retaliation from the people, because, you know, they're seeing, you know, less and less being afforded. They're being paid less and less. The food's being less and less. You know, that type of stuff absolutely has an effect. If, you know, public transportation is affected, you can no longer get to work, or it takes you a substantial, a longer time to get to work, or whatever it may be, to get whatever the daily things that you need to get done in your daily lives, like that would have an impact, you know, whether it be slow or quick or drawn out or whatever it be, that would put, you know, added pressure onto Vladimir Putin as well.
A few years' time, as Putin is looking to the West to get Ukraine fatigue, the Russian people looking to Vladimir Putin and getting war fatigue. And that's the one thing that Putin fears most. So what's
what's he say? One sec.
happening next and what's going on? The one thing I can be certain of is this war will still be going on through 2026. Whether it is under the auspices of some form of peace agreement and trying to implement that, possible, but the Russians will, or the Russians have rejected the current peace agreement. Whether the fighting's at the intensity that we've seen through this year, it's distinctly possible it could get stronger. But as ever, Battle Plans Exposed will be here to keep you up to date with what's happening here, but also what's happening in the rest of the world, because we have.
Well, we appreciate you doing so, sir. We do. But yeah, just to kind of give us a little update, a little insight as to maybe what to expect, what to look for, you know, especially in the mapping and the defensive areas. And, you know, again, a lot of people do seem like the fall of Pokrovsk is kind of, you know, kind of set in stone, like the writing's already on the wall, and now it's just kind of how long can we prolong and hold out, and what it means, what the next defensive lines will be, what it means for the fight going forward. So again, just to kind of keep everybody up to speed, I really do appreciate you guys. I can't tell you enough how proud I am, how honored I am that you guys have built this community, that you guys continue to engage with each other, that you guys continue to support communities, not only mine, but others like mine. And it just, you know, it's a pleasure knowing you guys. It's a pleasure being able to speak to you guys on a daily basis and to, you know, kind of consume this type of stuff and, you know, dig down deep into it with all of you fantastic people. So I really can't thank you enough. All the mods, every single one of you from start to finish, have been incredible, have been loyal, have been just fantastic all around. And I can't thank you guys enough. Chatters, again, you guys, in my opinion, have built one of the most fantastic, one of the most welcoming, one of the smartest, one of the most engaging chats on this space, regardless of how many subscribers we have. I believe that, and I will continue to believe that. So I thank you guys. Let's get into thanking anybody that may have sent over a Venmo or, you know, a super chat, super sticker, or a PayPal. Here, let me throw the PayPal. I always forget to do this. I apologize to anybody that may have PayPal. And not Venmo. I always do this. The Venmo's been up in the corner for the show. I'm gonna, for just until we're done here, I'll throw the PayPal up there just in case anybody has a PayPal and not a Venmo. I really do thank you guys for, again, $1 or $2 is all I ask for. Anything above and beyond that is totally 100% on you guys. So let me crack into the Venmo here so we can start thanking some people. Let's see here. So just from earlier, we got Jenny Faye. Jenny Faye, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Jenny says, again, she said earlier, the only good thing about being in Indiana is the endless supply of popcorn. Thanks for the great work covering the weak-minded, simpleton, grifter shit show. soap opera. Jenny Faye, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you. And to everybody else that's contributed in days past, whether it's Nancy, whether it's Karen, whether it is Dame Dog, whether it's Victoria and Tom, Claudia, Linda, let's see here, who else? PETA, Nicole, Allison, Garrett, all people that have contributed within the last few days. So thank you to you guys. It really means a lot. Fucking Yakov as well. So let's get into thanking some people here on the old YouTube side of things. Patrick, what's going on, my man? 20 months. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go, brother. I appreciate you, P. I appreciate you, brother. Happy Thursday. Let's fucking go. Thanks to the mods. And of course to you, Brian, for all that you do. No, thank you, Pat. You know that. You know that. I don't accept thank yous. I put them back onto you guys for doing that, for doing everything that you guys do. Because again, people like shows like mine, podcasts like mine, live streams like mine, whatever you want to call it, do not exist without the fantastic and engaging people that are in the chats like you guys. So appreciate that. Machine Tool, of course, huge shout out, big thank you, blessings to you, my friend. I really do appreciate your continued support of this channel. It really, really, really means a lot, and it helps a whole lot as well. So thank you, Machine Tool. Please make sure we're thanking Machine Tool for that incredible gesture there of the 20 gifted memberships. Shout out to you. Shout out to Mark as well. Oil ship could be a distraction for the Epstein files. Typically is when we're talking about this, but again, they kind of have us by the balls because the distractions that we talk about are so incredibly dangerous in and above the, in and on themselves, like on their own, that we are forced to talk about them. We're forced to bring them up. But again, just like we did yesterday, talking about the release of the information with the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, the relationship between Ghislaine Maxwell, the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, continuously highlighting that on this show is something we will continue to do. But also, I find it very important that, even if they are distraction attempts, they're incredibly dangerous, so need to be called out as well. Mark, appreciate you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to JD, ethnicity. Fuck, I still can't say it. Fuck me. Ethnicity bonus. Ethnicity. Jesus motherfucking Christ. Well, it's a bonus from JD. Thank you, JD, for that bonus. Fuck me. I think you found my kryptonite. Jesus Christ. Thanks, Mark. Shout out to you, NFS Blue Balls. Jesus, you guys are on fire tonight, and I love it. Just saying with the one gift, and thank you so much. Shout out to you, Cat Cookie, as well. Thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the 5. Darkly yours. Thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the community. I hope you find a nice welcoming place there, and don't be afraid to engage in hot debate. We appreciate it. We welcome it. Thank you so much for your contributions to the channel. PETA, thank you so much, brother. Putin is sacrificing the very future of Russia with the deaths of fighting age men, now at over 1 million dead with massive injuries for his ego. But again, just think of the pool that they have to draw from. I mean, we talked about this. PETA may not have been here, and thank you so much for your 5. Shout out to you, and thank you for being here tonight. But we spoke about this on previous shows that, think about how much they lost during World War II. Think about the sacrifices and how it became a religion in Russia, and how easily Vladimir Putin can pull and access that, the feelings of that being the religiosity of Russia, the sacrifices made and how many they, had to expend, and kind of put that into perspective. And, he can easily pull on those strings again. It might not be as easy. He may not be able to get to the numbers that we saw again in World War II, but it just kind of puts it in perspective just how many people and how willing they are to jump into the meat grinder for him. But PETA, thank you, brother. Appreciate you. The 5. Shout out to you, Peter. Again, let's go. Appreciate you, man. Check out the iconography of Southcom's Operation Southern Spear on the helmet of white supremacist appropriation of Jerusalem Cross. We were talking about that earlier. I was when we were talking about this video here we played from. Let me put this on the screen just real quick. From Gavin Newsom in response to the White House. We were talking about the video of Pete Hegseth, the same thing that's on Pete Hegseth's chest. So Peter, you're 100% right. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Rocks, thank you so much. What can I say? Thank you for your services. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for everything you do. The gifted memberships. I mean, come on. You guys are just absolutely incredible. 17 months, huh? Let's fucking go. Zoom tonight. Let's go, Brian. Love you. 15K and rising. Thank you so much, Tiff. We appreciate you so much. We really do. Thank you for that. And PETA. Holy shit, PETA. 50 gifted memberships. Oh, my God. I am so sorry I didn't see that go by in the chat when it happened live. But PETA, thank you so fucking much. So fucking much. That's incredible. Incredibly generous. Incredibly helpful. just incredibly meaningful for a channel of this size. I can't thank you enough, Peter. Always great to see you here, man. Always great to see you here. And you're always in everybody else's chat doing the same thing you do here, contributing, just being engaged. And, we appreciate you for that. Not just here, but in everybody else's chat too. Ethan, thank you so much. Really do appreciate you becoming a new member and signing up. And then to round it out, Steve Marquis, thank you so much. Another 20 gifted memberships, which is a fucking huge contribution to the channel. So Machine Tool, Steve, who else? PETA, thank you so much. Rocks, everybody else gifted memberships. It's a huge contribution to this channel, and I can't thank you enough. I will see you guys tomorrow. Everybody, thank you so much for your contributions. Thank you so much for your passion, your fight for democracy, both inside this country and outside of its borders. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. And again, I can't thank you guys enough for your the appreciation that you show, the kindness that you guys show. It really means a lot. So thank you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. To everybody gifting, to everybody signing up for a new YouTube membership, to everybody signing up at patreon.com. I will see you guys tonight. I appreciate that. Don't forget the Zoom. Hey, let me put it on the screen. That way we don't get confused on what the dates are. So I'll see you tonight to everybody signed up at patreon.com/Boston Brian at 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. here on the West Coast. Look for that link going out on Patreon on the website. So thank you guys. I appreciate you very, very much. And I will see the Zoomers tonight, and I will see the rest of you guys tomorrow for another great show. Thank you guys. Peace out. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive. Keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you're staying safe out there. All right. I appreciate it. I'm Boston Brian, Blunt Politics. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. Thank you so much, Nina. Sorry I missed that. Thank you so much for your contributions. I appreciate you. Thank you so much again, Machine Tool, Steve, PETA. Thank you guys so much. That is just incredibly kind of you. Ethan, signing up for new membership. All of you guys. Jim, everybody that's been here for so long. Yakov, for sharing everything out. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. I really do. From the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. Thank you, Pop. Thank you, Dad. I love you, big guy. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the laughs. Thank you for everything. Mom, same thing to you. Kelly, Tim. Love you guys. Mel, Logan. You guys know. Peace out, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. And God bless the United States. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. It's a new form of vicious violation to our country. Somebody said, is that a Trump statement or is that real? For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. They were fighting uphill. He said, wow, that was a big mistake. He lost his great general. And they were fighting, never fight uphill, me boys, but it was too late. For minors, do we love minors? I love minors. They're just getting acclimated. You know what that means, acclimated? When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.
I mean, they've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
For the rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands. He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Oh, he's calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me. He's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Brian, you're drunk. You're drunk.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
guys. I'll see you later. Thank you, mods. Appreciate you guys. Peace out. Peace out.
Or go fuck yourself. He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. The big, fat, sloppy United States.